would be. To get exact BIA formulas, you compare the results of a measurement with a very accurate reference method. In validation studies for the SECA MBCA, for example, the BIA measurements of 125 individuals were compared to the results of a whole body MRI. The MRI is the most accurate method for determining skeletal muscle mass. The calculation formula for skeletal muscle mass was derived from the alignment of the body resistance measurements with the MRI data. Whether this formula delivered accurate results was tested on another 130 subjects and again compared to MRI screenings. The other body components each have a preeminent method of validation. As we saw, the best method for determining muscle mass is the whole body MRI. To determine fat mass, it's the so-called 4-compartment method. If the comparison method is inaccurate, the so validated device will also be inaccurate. Without verifiable validation studies, it's like stepping on a scale that only roughly determines your body weight. Rigorous validation studies are indicators of the accuracy and performance of SECA's BIA devices. Unlike other manufacturers, the measurements of the SECA MBCA have been validated in several studies against the most sophisticated reference methods. Those studies were published consistently and transparently in peer-reviewed journals. Therefore, there is no doubt about the accuracy of the results.
How's that?
I'm hearing a double back here, but you got that. Okay, super. What I'm doing here is I'm actually trying to show exactly the reason why we're trying to see the SECA versus the in-body, but I can actually see the difference now. You guys do. I noticed that you did a lot of nephrology, a lot of pediatrics. Tell me a little bit about the differences in terms of maybe as a physical medicine individual. What are we looking at in terms of getting this particular product for, let's say, a metabolic issue, and how are we going to be able to do the metabolic processes in that dynamics?
The metabolic process in that, can you further in that example? Sorry.
For example, I want to be able to see water retention, you know, how much weight is by water, or let's say I have a limb that's injured and swollen. Will we be able to tell the difference between one side and the opposite side of leg swelling?
So we do have the segmental muscle graphing as well on our, so I'm looking at you there, on our diagram in our printout as well.
Okay.
So we do use the phase angle, which shows the health of the cells as well. So I can dive deeper into that as well. But the segmental muscle mass, that's going to be a huge factor, which I know InBody does as well. And most BIA devices do to this date. But yes, we do the extracellular water and the intracellular water, so how much water the body is actually holding.
One of the reasons I want to be able to do that is that if I have a physical medicine type of practice, as I do, I got people that got injured in their knees and their legs. And you know what, to be able to compare one leg versus the other leg, let's say a knee injury or an ACL injury, I want to be able to see if there's swelling involved and if the swelling has subsided. And can it tell the difference between one side of the knee, or let's say one lower extremity versus the left extremity?
So when it comes to the water and the fluid retention that's inside there, I have to get back to you as far as the segmental graphing on that. But as far as like muscle atrophy, yeah, you can definitely determine that.
Tell me a little bit about what it also can do, because I saw the video and I noticed that I'm very interested. How do we use it in a pediatric practice?
So we've done multiple studies on children, but it hasn't come to the market yet because of COVID. So all of our studies and validations are finished. We're just about to bring it to the market. It's just delayed on bringing it to the market. So the only difference on children is that the hand railing changes. So there's a pediatric handrail attachment that adds onto the device now.
What's the age that you typically like to, or
so from 5 to 18.
5 to 18. Okay. I noticed that your apparatus has a good, really solid, sturdy, I think, platform. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes. So I'll dive into let me get back in so I can see from a clearer view. All right, is that better?
Yeah, I can. Much better.
Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in here. That's the great thing about this virtual stuff now, is that you can be in the comfort of your own office, don't have to worry about me being there.
Well, I love this because I can show this to my patients live, and I can express to them exactly what we're going to be having in the office.
Exactly. So when it comes to our base, the biggest thing that we wanted to do when it came to our design was a wide platform. And we kind of followed that from our 514, which is our older model. So we want to make sure that no matter what the weight, size, or whatever the case may be, that they feel comfortable at all times while on this device. Also, very easy to maneuver. I'm strong, but I'm not that strong.
Can you shake it? I want to see how it, oh, that's pretty solid. Okay, gotcha.
So yes, it is a solid device. Right now it's on a carpet. It has two widespread wheels at the back. So if you want to maneuver it around the office or around whatever the case where you have it, it's very easy to move on tiles and on carpet. This is just a little bit of a thicker carpet. So, but one thing that we like to focus on is we call it the bear claw glass.
Okay.
Now, what this is we call it virtually unbreakable. It's only broken one time, and that's because a 750-pound weight fell on it, okay. And it was a slight crack.
Okay. I thought you were going someplace else. Okay, go ahead.
So, and also, I'm sure if you've noticed that with most body composition devices, is that there'll be two metal electrodes on each side, right, for your feet. One for the balls of your feet and one for the heels, right? What we've done is we've actually embedded the electrodes inside the glass.
Okay.
So now we're spreading that for that accuracy and precision. So now we're able to get a more accurate and precise reading. Also, let me view in here. All of our devices have what we call a non-tip. So for your patients that might have back issues, stability is crucial, right?
Okay.
So no matter if you're at the front of the device, I'm 226 pounds. So no matter if I'm on the front of the device or at the back, I'm getting that stability factor at all times with that non-tilt, that base support.
I think the camera doesn't really displace. You're 226 pounds. How tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
It does not make you look, this camera makes you look like you're 5'8". Go ahead. That's funny. So that kind of lets you see this is a pretty big piece of equipment then.
Yeah, so this has the height raising rod, which is an option. So what this does is really eliminates that manual effort for you. So we understand that height's a key factor. We have to put that in regardless. But what this does is this automatically puts that in for you with the accurate reading, with the ultrasonic height measuring rod.
Got it.
So next thing that's a key important for you to understand, because I understand that you want to make sure that you're giving your patients the most accurate and precise readings, right? For whatever diagnosis or progression they need to make throughout for their health, right?
Correct.
So our hand railing, this is a crucial factor which we took into consideration. Other BIA devices or body composition devices will have a movable rail and with pistol grips.
Okay.
And what we realized by having that, you're not able to replicate and reproduce the same positioning every time.
That's what I'm talking about. That is so accurate because actually how much you're pitching, that makes a big difference. And I did notice that when I was actually doing one at UTEP here locally, it was kind of like it was different. And the pitch of my body was different. Go ahead.
Yeah, so these are patented grips that we have. No one else in the market has this. But we have two positions on each side. So depending on the weight, the height, or the comfort of the individual, they have these stationary grips that they can grip on. Now, all you have to do as their doctor is just note where they gripped it from the first time. So every time they jump on the device, we're talking about reproducibility, right? We're talking about reenacting the same scenario over and over again for that accuracy. Okay. And that's exactly what we're looking for. That's exactly what we spend our time in when designing this device. So it has a little divider. So I'm not sure if you're a Star Trek fan, but basically your hands will go like this in between the dividers. Stand on the device. It's skin to device activation, of course. Okay. So obviously shoes off. And then we have a 4.3 LED screen.
What does that do?
And so this shows your pounds, your height, and your BMI.
Okay. So just some basic information.
And so just some basic information. The true information that we're looking for is all in our cloud system. Okay. And I'll get into that in a second.
Okay, yes.
Great thing about that is we all know that sanitation is huge right now. It's at the forefront of all our decision making. And with the bare glass platform, instead of having those metal electrodes anymore, it's a lot easier to clean with that glass platform, those disinfectant wipes. Also, this is easy to use. The LED is very easy to use with gloves as well.
Okay.
And so I know that might be a key point for your practice as well, making sure that sanitization and whoever the staff that may be using the device as well. And so we also have voice assistants.
Okay.
So not only you are able to tell your patient, okay, this is how you need to stand, but the voice assistants will correct them each time to make sure that they're replicating that positioning, the correct positioning.
Okay.
That can be turned off and on. It can also voice the measurements, which we understand that weight can be taboo to some people.
Okay.
So you can turn that off at your discretion as well. So would you like me to jump on the device real quick?
Yeah, go ahead and tell me how would a patient get on this?
Yeah, so I'm gonna do a live action demonstration. Every step. And good thing for you don't have to smell my feet, so. So first thing we wanna always make sure is that we're wiping down from top to bottom.
Okay.
Just because bacteria, we don't want to wipe from where the feet are, then make our way to where our hands are going. So wipe it down. So now once that's complete, we're going to jump on the device. And it has two lit up lights for my feet positioning.
Okay.
Stand up straight. So now it's calculated my weight, which is 224.9 pounds. I lost some weight. My height, which says 6 foot and 5/8, and my BMI of 30.
Okay.
So now from that's complete, I need to just click, there's a button here that says BIA, and now it will adjust the electrodes. I adjust my footing, keep my hands the same, and these lights will shine once I'm in the correct position. So now I'm in the correct position. It's going to start measuring now. So in just 24 seconds or less, the measurement will be complete. It's already at 50% already. And so at this point, you're telling your patient just to stand still, just to wait. Now it's complete. Last thing to do is press the check mark and put in my date of birth, which is October 6, 1991. And now it's complete. Now the patient can jump off, and the voice activation will also give you that extra confirmation that you no longer have to be on the device and that all the measurements are complete.
Yeah, October. How old are you, Denzel?
I'll be 29 on October 6th.
Your birthday was the month I graduated college, the month right before. So I've been in practice for that long. Wow, that's amazing.
For as long as I've been alive.
Since the day you were born. Go ahead. That's pretty funny. Okay, go ahead. Let me ask you this in terms of, because I'm trying to do really in order before I purchase this equipment, I need to know the differences. Somewhere down the line, I need you to compare and contrast the in-body, and just tell me the things that you know that are good, because I want to understand the difference for my patients so that we can bring body composition to a different level. My goal, I don't know if you have this unit here in El Paso, but I want to bring this particular unit to El Paso so that when we do the assessments, it gives them a real clear understanding as to the differences, and say, you know what, I hold myself out about because I have this particular equipment, and it offers my patients a different insight into the physiology.
Yeah, so I'm going to be completely transparent with you. And do you mind if I call you Alex or Dr. Jimenez?
Call me Alex is fine.
Okay, I apologize. Okay, so Alex, so before I started here, I was a personal trainer for a while, on my own business. Then I did business development for fitness franchises. Okay. And one of the fitness franchises I worked at, they were partnered with InBody. And so first thing I saw from InBody, I was like, wow, I've never seen anything. I didn't even know what body composition was to that extent, right? And I thought InBody was the most amazing thing. I come here and I'm still like, okay, InBody's our competitor. They're a great device. Once I've actually learned the biggest factor that really just differentiates us is, yes, they have a smaller size. They're a lot smaller and compact, but we provide for that all age and size groups, right? That stability aspect. But it's our medically validated research that goes into our devices.
Okay.
And that's what
when
I
you
touched
say
on in that
medically
video.
validated, what does that mean? Because I've heard this from not only yourself, but I've heard this from the coach care people.
Yeah, so basically, we've been in renowned hospitals from Tokyo, Germany, and also New York.
Oh, okay.
And what we did was use multi-ethnic subject groups to study body composition against the MRI, which we spoke of earlier, DEXA, deuterium dilution for body water, and NABR, which is also for the extracellular water.
Yes,
So we've done all of those validations and researches with multi-ethnic groups. Whereas in body, they use a healthy Caucasian male for their subjects.
Okay, so you have a cross,
and they don't.
Your study includes all sorts of ethnic dynamics, right?
Exactly, okay. Because as we all know, we're all different, right? From the different ethnic backgrounds which we come from, and also they don't take gender into consideration either.
Gotcha.
So basically, if you're saying that a 226-pound female who's 6'1" has got the same body composition as myself, it's
different.
It's crazy. So they leave the guesswork. They leave a lot of guesswork in there.
Makes sense.
Once again, they're great in the athletic field. They really made a great name for themselves. They really have. But when it comes to medically validated in the medical field and that precision and that accuracy, we're unmatched.
Okay, got it. Makes perfect sense. I love the way that you're presenting that. Okay. So,
and for what you're looking for, you're probably looking, I'm not sure if you looked right there, but it's probably like the 570 or the 770, correct?
I was looking at the 770. And when you're talking about the differences, so just make sure that when we cover this, I want to know the actual things that are different, because you actually are really good at this. You'll be able to tell me the differences between the in-body, they may not have that, or they aren't not in development, but at least this is different from as we do this presentation.
Yes. So I can send you definitely more information about the comparisons.
Yeah, I'll take those. I'll take those.
Yeah, I'll definitely send. Did I send you our peer reviews for our medically validated research?
No, I don't think I got that. I just got the email for the appointment.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to send you that after this as well, just so you have some reading material, so it's not just coming from my mouth. It's actually the physical material that you have in front of you. Okay. And if you ever want to project it to anyone else, you have that leg to stand on.
Got it.
And we're talking about, let's talk about what really matters as well, is the price point, right?
Well, what I really want to do before we talk about price point is, are you going to be able to show me at least on the screen the findings, or let's say some like a report?
Yeah, I'm going to pull up my report.
Oh yeah, let's pull up the report. Let's pull up the report, because I want to really learn about this before we go ahead and talk about cost.
Yeah. So let me share my screen. Let me just get out of this real quick. So this is what we call our software. It's our Analytics 125. For D, and I'll get into that once we look at the software real quick.
This is really cool.
But I want to make sure.
So actually, you're piping in through California. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm gonna share my screen with you real quick. Oops, my apologies.
No worries, man.
I'm a millennial, but sometimes the technology gets on my nerves.
Yeah, my son's your age, or not your age, but he's definitely, they can kind of do these things on a different level.
All right, so here we go. So it's our SECA Analytics 125. This is a web-based software, okay? So whether you have a desktop, a laptop, or a tablet, you'll be able to access this anywhere as long as you have internet. What do you currently use?
You know what, I use the internet, but here's the question. Will my patients be able to get their own report and see, let's say on repetitive follow-up studies, they can look at their own findings? So, yes.
They won't have a login unless, I'm sure you wouldn't want to give them a login, but you can send them an email of a PDF email or a PDF printout of their results.
So I can get them connected that way. I got you. Okay.
Yes. So we understand that patient education is just as crucial as your understanding, right? So when it comes to that, we want to make sure that the patient educational aspect helps with their motivational process. And with motivational leads to results, positive results. So let me just take it back here real quick. Sorry, my boss is blowing me up. Okay, so this is where you're going to see all your patients organized from the last person to jump on. Now I'm going to click on here. You see it's yellow. That's because these 4 fields need to be filled out. So the IDP is basically their personal ID. I'm going to put my name. The name isn't necessary, but I'm sure you'll want to put that in. the gender. We understand that's crucial, the ethnicity.
Wow, that's really cool.
And then
that's really cool. That's interesting how you guys could separate that. I see differences already. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then we're going to put the circumference of the waist, right? So I'm going to click here. We're going to save it. Now it's complete. Now I can click into here. Every time I've jumped on this device, my report history is on the left-hand side. So this is where you're going to come with your patients and you're going to really educate them on what their body's doing and the health of their body. As you can see, unfortunately, I'm obese. So, but if we need to spread this out, obviously on your computer, we can spread this out. Now we can talk about where we're sitting on the average for their age, their ethnicity, and their gender.
Gotcha.
We can see by this arrow if I've had an increase of body mass index, which I have. The other week I was 29. We know that fluctuates quite a lot, right? Skeletal muscle mass. Like I said, with InBody, I've actually done my skeletal muscle mass with InBody. It shows that I have 101 pounds of muscle, skeletal muscle.
Okay.
Whereas it shows I have 85 pounds. So yes, I feel better when I look at InBody, but is it really going to help me if it's not the right information?
Gotcha. Okay.
Right?
Got it.
So yes, I've had an increase in muscle mass. I don't know how. I had nothing but fat food over the weekend, but that's working for me.
Got it.
Now we can see our body composition. Okay, patient John Doe. You're sitting, this is high muscle, low fat. This is really what we want to see. You want to see you on this end of the median from your age, your gender, and your ethnicity. We want to see you here because that's the median of what's really going on.
Okay.
We don't want to see you up here because this means you have high muscle, but you also have high fat.
Got it.
Which with COVID-19, the higher the fat, the more risk you are of catching the COVID, right?
Yeah. What kind of studies have you found on that? Like, what's the BMI? Because I remember hearing like a 27. What's the number that is at risk for COVID?
We heard that the 29 and 30s.
30s. Okay.
But we go all the way up on here to a 45.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, and obviously this can be an educational factor. So now we can see, okay, this is where we're sitting, but Denzel, I want to see you here.
Okay.
So now here comes the programming that we need to set forth. How are we going to get you to this position here? And now not only do you know what I need, but now I understand what I need, right? With visual.
Okay.
So when it comes to the first one you're going to be brought to is nutritional and functional, right? So it's going to have these 6 parameters off the bat. The segmental muscle mass. So now we're saying, okay, Denzel, in your right leg, you need to work more on your right leg because your left leg has 0.3 more, or your right arm has 5.9 pounds of muscle and your left arm has 6.1. Okay. So now we need to start, when it comes to your working out, we need to start doing segmental workouts.
Okay, skeletal muscle mass. So this is the skeletal muscle mass only, what we're looking at. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
So now it says this visceral adipose tissue, as we call the malicious fat, right?
Yes.
The fat that we can't see. So this is the fat that's surrounding our organs. Now, you might see an individual who, when it comes to the body composition, they might be here, which means they're low. They have a higher fat, but lower muscle intake, right? But they still look fit in society's world to untrained eye.
Got it.
But now we're able to come here and really talk to what their body is doing or how their body's looking on the inside. Because we're sitting around here or here, and say, yes, you look fit, but you need to gain muscle and lose that visceral adipose tissue because that's the fat that's surrounding your organs. That's the fat that leads to such diseases as diabetes.
Okay.
So now we're talking about preventative, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, now we're going to look at the malnourishment. Now the 6 parameters are going to change slightly. Body mass index stays the same. Now we're looking at the fat-free mass index. I'm sitting pretty good. I've increased it. Body composition is the same. Now we're looking at the fat mass percentage, 25%. I need to do better, but it's gone down, which is great. Skeletal muscle mass over age. So put my age in a parameter where I sit. I'm sitting pretty good. And then the phase angle. Now, the phase, I'm gonna, like I said, transparency is very key with me. Phase angle is quite a difficult one for me to project, but it's really the health of the cells. The healthier the cells, the higher the phase angle. Obviously, the more you work out, the lower the phase angle because we're diminishing the muscles to rebuild them, right?
Right. Okay, so what's your understanding of what phase angle does? Again, you can repeat that for me because I know that we're going to be using phase angle to determine overall health, right? So tell me a little bit about it from your point of view.
Yeah, so from my point of view, it's basically the health of the cells and really a standpoint of your health in general to see how your body's reacting to whatever you're doing. So for example, if I have a cancer patient, we're going to see a lot lower phase angle right here because of their cells, the activation of their cells and how they react to certain activities.
I don't mean to, if it's out of your realm in terms of physiology, what is it that you're measuring in the phase angle? Are you measuring the impedance? What are you measuring? The capacitance? Like, what is it we're measuring in the phase angle that gives us a number?
I have to look into that for you. Like that one's a little bit tricky for me. I'm not like very transparent. It's very tricky for me. I haven't dialed that one in just yet. Nope. But I do have information for you that I can definitely send you.
Don't worry, there's a lot of doctors that don't know what phase angle is about. Okay, so I mean, not to worry. Go ahead, continue.
Can you still see the screen?
I sure can, yes, sir.
Okay, now we're talking about customization, right? So what do we notice about myself? We need to lower body fat. Now I'm able to project my interpretations to my patients. So not only do they have that auditory, now they have that visual understanding. There's no excuses. We're eliminating that room for excuses, right? Also, customization. We understand that every patient is different. You're going to need different parameters for each patient. So just by dragging and dropping, we're changing the view and what needs to be educated and projected to our patients. What is necessary for them?
Yeah, so prioritizing, is that what you're saying?
Yes. Gotcha. My apologies. I don't know. No, so yeah, so for whether it's fitness or weight loss, whatever the case may be, or muscle gain, you'd want to be looking at the segmental muscles, skeletal muscle, right? Got it. See how your muscles are growing, where are we lacking, where's the atrophy?
Let me ask you this, does it measure the water in the extremities or the level of water inside the joints? Or?
Yeah, so we're going to have a look at all parameters.
Water ratio, oh, there you go.
So where did I lose? I saw the water a second ago. Okay. And so we're looking at the extracellular water.
Okay, gotcha.
And total body water.
Got it.
And so we're looking at the increase of the 41% there. And there's one more. Weight circumference. Yes.
Total body weight of water and then extracellular.
So understanding the water in the muscles, or the dehydration or overhydration.
Gotcha.
Right? What is our patient doing right now? So yes, we're able to get that full scope. But I said, like in the segment, as far as the water in each segment, I'll have to look into that a little bit deeper for you.
Okay, no worries. Go ahead. Trending.
The more often, obviously, your patient jumps on the scale, we're going to start having trends, right? So now we can see how they're progressing throughout their process. So trend lines are very important when it comes to the educational and motivational aspects
of our patients. Talk to me about these trend lines, because I see the trend lines moving up and down so you can actually see where they are based in between the prior assessments. Is that what I'm seeing there?
Yes, correct.
Gotcha.
So let me get to, let's say just here. So now we can see if we just hover over it, we can see from my first ever measurement where I was sitting. Now to 2 weeks ago. Now it's showing that I'll stay stagnant. Now I've had an increase just of my torso of 0.9 pounds. So we can see where we're decreasing and increasing throughout the process.
Denzel, this is a real good presentation. I like that, the way you're doing this, because I can actually see the various differences between, and it's very visual. So I definitely appreciate this.
Not a problem. And then one thing that you spoke on is how can I present this to my patients, correct? So we have three options. Now it's the single measurement. If we were to click the single measurement, that's just going to give us the graph. Okay? So yes, that's key. But what we want to do is, once again, is the educational and motivational aspect. So we want the single measurement and info text. So we're going to click export, or we can email it to them, whichever you find easier. And this is the printout. It's going to have my name, my ID, my gender, my age, and the date in which I jumped on the device. Because best case scenario, we want to try to replicate the same time. So we're doing the same activity over and over. So if I know that I came on 8/3 at 12:34, if you wanted a month from now, okay, what did I do that day? Did I eat breakfast? Try to eat the same. It's not a necessity, but it'd be best if we could, right? If we could replicate. Once again, trying to getting the most accurate and precise readings.
Okay.
So now we have the graph, the visual graph, and then the diagnosis, the understanding of what the graph is telling you.
Okay.
Now, this is our depiction. You can customize this. So layman's terms for your patients.
Got it. So now let's say I'm looking at this test here. If I want to compare and contrast, if they want to see how they've improved relative to a prior event, would that be on a report?
Yes. So if I want to come back here to the analytics, all we have to do is download the trend, single measurement in the trend.
Okay, so now they can actually see the variations and the differences between.
Yes.
Okay, got it. That makes sense, because that gives them motivation.
Exactly. So now I say, okay, from my first measurement, I went up. That's stagnant. Now I've gone back down. How do I continue to go back down? What was I doing between this time and this time that helped this process go back down?
Yes.
Okay. And then I think at the bottom, right here, you're gonna see my little note.
Oh, okay, the notes, the areas for the comments and the actual personalization.
Lower the body fat. Okay. Now, Dr. Jimenez, are you looking to put your branding?
Well, absolutely. I'm not.
Yeah.
One of the things is that I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that at least that seems like a pretty simple thing to put my name and logo on that. So let me ask you this: what will they be able to do? Can they log in? There's nothing that they can do online, right? Is that correct?
No. So we don't want to give them administrative capabilities.
Okay. Let me ask you this. So let's say Coach Care. Okay, Coach Care, because I've already made the investment in Coach Care where we do telemedicine in that respect. How does this integrate with Coach Care's apparatus since you're on the cloud? How do we propel that information into my platform so I can not only coach, because what we have is like automated devices or things like the Fitbit that can monitor steps and all those kind of things, activity throughout the day. But one of those things is because we also want to, be there for those that want to, make a change. So how does this software integrate particularly with Coach Care?
When it comes to Coach Care, I'm not 100% familiar, but I do have the information available to you. Okay. Coach Care was something that I was just found out last week. Okay. And so I want to make sure that I do justice, right?
No, it's okay. I just want to know if we can, because I want to make it simple. Because
no, they definitely integrate. We have a great partnership with Coach Care, and I do have the information that is on a PDF that I can definitely send to you.
Yeah, because they're both on the cloud, so it's just I'm wondering how you guys are going to connect via your data, and then my patients will be in there, and then it makes it really easy for me as a provider. I can be anywhere, and I can also see my patient's information wherever I go. This is huge. This is huge. Yeah. Wow, I want to appreciate this. This is very, very cool. I got to tell you, it's it's very insightful as to what you're giving. I look forward to getting that. So what we're going to talk about now is, I think you want to talk about the price and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, how soon are you looking to purchase a device?
Well, this month actually. It's like as I mentioned it, is I wanted to go over that month. So I look forward to providing my patients with that particular data. So I just want you to know that, if that makes any sense there. Okay. Is there anything other on the presentation that I need to see additional in terms of the dynamics and the performance?
Only thing that you probably want to see is the software.
Oh yeah, let's see it. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, so when it comes to our software, you can see my screen again?
Yes, sir.
So when it comes to software, we are independent. So like I said, laptop, desktop, or tablet, you're able to access it. So like you said, if you're in vacation in Hawaii and a patient contacts you, Dr. Jimenez, I just need my results, I lost them. All you got to do is log in right there, send them over.
Exactly what I'm looking for. That's exactly, okay, perfect.
Okay. So, and we do have, we're getting iOS integration. So I'm not sure if you have an iPhone, but you'll be able to use it on your iPhone as well, or your iPad. Right now for Apple, it only works on laptops.
It doesn't work on iPad?
Not on iPad, but a tablet it does.
Gotcha, okay.
We're getting that iOS integration. If you have an iPad, don't worry, we're getting that integration this year.
Perfect, that's great.
Just with COVID, everything's been delayed.
Okay, perfect. Is this the actual software?
So the software is what we were just in before.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay. So
yeah. So I'm just telling you briefly about like the background of software so you get a better understanding. Right. Efficient. So as we saw, we jump on the device, but all the information is collected in 24 seconds. So it goes from the device into the software within 24 seconds. So now you can spend more time with your patients instead of just actually on the device.
Got it.
Right? Always updating, constantly updating. We have, it's no systematic updating. We just constantly updating the software. So no matter if you buy this device now, it's a year old, 5 years old, or 10 years old, you're always going to have that premium service and results that you're providing because we're constantly updating the software, which is the heart of the device.
Okay, so it's different from, let's say, the progression of the 550, the 770, and all those kind of things, right? Got it.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. What did you like about this company, and what did you, about the equipment in terms of the variation between the other product?
Well, I like the design, to be honest. Like just how sleek it is. The sleek design was the first thing that captured me. Like I said, the glass bottom, which you probably can't see right now.
I did see. I saw it.
Yeah. So the glass bottom, the wide base platform, and just the security factor. Because I don't have any problem with stability. Just understanding that no matter who jumps on this device, they're going to feel comfortable.
Yes.
And that's what we all look for, is taking care of our patients, right?
Yes, sir.
And in every aspect, the comfortability, the reliability for our patients. And also the accuracy reading. Like I said, I felt a lot better on the InBody because it's telling me I have 101 pounds of skeletal muscle mass. And as a man that goes to the gym, you're like, okay, yeah, I want to hear that. There we go.
Get some muscle. I got you.
Yeah. So, and obviously it's discouraging to see it. Wow, 18 pounds of skeletal muscle mass just dropped. But I'd rather have the accurate reading than the guessing of my dimensions to give me my full scope of my body health.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's just the sleek design. And then we're coming out with a black version. Well, I shouldn't have told you this, but a black version for like the fitness industry.
Okay. Oh, like the color.
So
the color of it, or is it like more?
Yeah.
Okay, so more.
So it's like a space gray.
Got you. Okay.
And so we use white for medical, and then a little bit of a darker color for the fitness realm.
Okay. Well, I think this is giving me a lot of information. I guess from now on, what we'll do is we'll talk about exactly how to get one of these things in the office. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I know when you're